explain the rules a little bit. Okay, so now this is the real estate quiz show. There will be two segments. One is true or false, and then one is multiple choice. So in both segments, I will explain the correct answer as well as also explain the wrong options. Okay, now before we start, I just want to say a very short prayer for those who are going for your exam. Father Lord, I just welcome you to be among our midst as we go through our revision. Now, I just pray that when all the participants, when they go for the exam, Father Lord, I just pray that your spirit will go before them, help them to pass at one go. And for those who are practicing real estate brokerage, Lord, I also pray that your spirit be with them, bless them with the harvest. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay, so now let's, without further ado, let's start the first question. This is my favorite question, Eastman. So today we have, I think, 3 to 4 Eastman related question. So first question first, simple one. Eastman is a public right, true or false? Let me pull out the poll and let's vote. "30 seconds, just nice. Let's end the poll and share the results. Okay, now I need everybody to look at the answer carefully. Look at the choices, not the answer. Look at the choices carefully. 56% of you said that it is a true statement. Let me now explain. It is a false statement. Oh, when are you going to take the exam? Who got it wrong? Who got it wrong? Let me explain. Easement is a land right. You can call it property right. It's a land right owned by one landowner over the neighboring land. If the easement is about land usage, sometimes it's just airspace, sometimes it's restriction. So if it's a land usage, then there's only one beneficial landowner. So then the other landowner is called the servient landowner or burden owner. Now, so easement is not a public right. Now, it is not a private right as well. Now, private right, we call it license. That's why in the multiple choice, the MCQ questions, and also in my short videos, they are not available yet because my IT programmer still doing up the platform, the page. So I will let you all know once it's available. I think I have shot about 10 already, about 10 videos already. So to actually help you. Now, so I have quite a few overlapping videos on easement and license. So license is very tricky. Now, easement can also be a restriction on land use. So let's look at the second question. Driveway easement. Only immediate family members and domestic helper or helpers of the beneficial land can enjoy the easement. Invited guests and business visitors must seek permission separately from the owner of the burden land. Let's vote. Okay, thank you very much. Let's share the results. Okay, this time round, 56% of you say it's false. Now, I cannot remember the true or false. I only remember the explanation. So now let's see what happens. Okay, it's false. Now let me explain. Now all parties, meaning the beneficial land that side, all parties with legitimate reasons to access the beneficial land enjoy the same right in the driveway easement. However, driveway easement of a residential property is limited to only visitors of a social nature and not for business visitors. For example, some people, they actually carry out a business meeting at home. So therefore, sometimes employees, business associates also come. All right. So sometimes they run some home-based business, so customers come. Right. For example, some people they home cook cake, kueh, that kind of business. So the customers just come. All right. So then the Serbian land go complain, go to the court to get an injunction. Now the easement must not deprive the owner of the burden land or reasonable enjoyment of his own land. For example, now there's this case, very old case, where the burden landowner, every weekend, his own house, his own driveway is totally blocked by the cars going into the beneficial land. So in the end, the court says that no, because the beneficial land was a transport company, so the boss actually owned a lot of buses, school buses, and lorries. So sometimes when he called for a meeting, then the driver just come in their own transport vehicle. So this guy don't let them come in, and then they quarrel. Okay. Now let's look at, so far we have 2 easement already. So now this is the third one on easement. A building owner rebuilding his own property must ensure that the neighboring buildings will not be damaged as a result of the demolition or construction work. Now this is a public right called easement of support. Now you have to decide for yourself whether this statement is true or false. Let's vote. So I wait for 80% of you to vote first. 72% already. Okay, so any more? Yeah, in the interest of time, so I just end the poll and share the results. This time round, 89% of you say it is true. Let me give you the answer. It's false. Oh dear. Oh dear. Now the property owners owes all his neighbors and any innocent passers-by the common law duty of care. This means that no one close by should be injured by the work. It is a duty owed by each and every property owner. So it is not an easement of support. Now, easement of support is very tricky. So if you are having my course notes, please go and take a look, because easement of support must have a few rules, meaning you must prove that your foundation is built on the same soil or rock foundation. So it's very technical, and it only arises after 20 years. So if you have a new building like 4 or 5 years and either cause the collapse or the building itself collapse because of neighbors construction work, now easement or support does not hold. So as a result, in Singapore, now the lawyer who successfully argued the case that in cases of property damage, the defendant should not hide behind easement or support. Because why? Number one, Singapore is a young country. So for buildings to hit 20 years, I mean those years, 1993, when this case was fought, many of the building haven't even reached 20 years. And number two, it's more appropriate to impose common law duty of care. That means you must not injure your neighbor. So that's why in Singapore itself, easement or support always will take second place. It should be duty of care. Negligence, negligent. You should not be negligent. All right. So fee simple is a form of absolute freehold estate that still exists in Singapore. This one should be quite easy. Let me pull up to test your understanding. Okay, let's vote. All right, that's fast. Let me show you the results. Okay, all of you get it right. I mean, I just hope that in the exam you have a lot of this kind of common sense question. But this quiz show is to help you to gain understanding. So getting it right is just the first step to success. So I still need to explain them. Now, though the state no longer grants fee simple, no longer grant fee simple estate. Now, all holders of fee simple are allowed to continue with the absolute freehold right to the land. So now you must remember that the colonial administration in Singapore stopped granting fee simple from 1907 because 1902 State Lands Act was enacted in England. 5 years later, in 1907, it came to Singapore because we were part of the British administration, so we use all England law. Okay, so this part of the history, I always mention in class. Okay, so I suspect a lot of you are not my students. Okay, so now we got fee simple, then we got leasehold now. Now leasehold estate of 9,999 years is equivalent to the freehold estate. Let's vote. Wait, let me call out the question. Let's vote. I need you, all of you, to look at the poll results. 56% of you say it's true. Seriously, I don't know who you are, so I also don't know whether you're going for exam next week. So it's false. It's false. Right? The 999-year estate. Estate means you are the owner already. Estate means ownership. Very long interest in land is called estate. I have a short video on that also. Now, estate, 9,999-year estate will be reverted to the freeholder upon the expiry of the 9,999 years. Now, so almost 1,000 years ago, many private landowners in England sold their freehold lands for 999 years, right? So of course that one is almost 10,000 years. So I'm just quoting an example of estate that's almost 1,000 years. So the freehold landowner actually when they sold the land is to raise funds for the Holy Crusade, because they are fighting the war to try to take back Jerusalem. So they need to raise a lot of funds. So therefore, when they sell the land, they grant 999 years. Now, a few years from now, most of the private leases of 999 years will expire, and then the estate will have to be reverted to the original freeholders. Now, so in other words, we are going to see a lot of very rich people in England, all right, out of the blue, the land will be taken back by the freeholder, and then they will have no house to stay. Then after that, the next generation then may become working class again. So that's why it's very important for us to study land law, so that we know that, okay, land is a source of wealth as well. So that's why you see even we are still in the pandemic, but real estate transaction like bull run. Next week I'll be doing this. I mean, not here, I mean in another lesson. Question number 6, when you park your car in a car park, be it a private or public car park, you enter the premises on a private license. On a license, generally, it's private license. Let's vote. Right, this is very quick. 100% got it right. Okay, so this one no issue. License no issue already. Okay, so many so-called public places, you actually enter on license, which is a personal property granted to you, granted to you. So whether or not you have to pay, some places you don't have to pay, but you have to consume the service there, or you have to consume some goods there or food there, such as McDonald's. When you enter McDonald's, you actually enter on private license, okay, to use or to occupy the place. So likewise, when you enter a cinema to watch a movie, or you stay in a hotel, you enter the property on license. So this one easy. Let's look at question. The value of a real estate is determined by how freely it can be transferred. Let's vote. We wait for one more person to vote. All right, thank you. Now, this kind of question is always very tricky. So you need to know how to explain. So, okay, like for example, anybody can give revision one, anybody, all right? But whether they are able to give you the correct explanation when you pick the right answer or the wrong answer, that is critical, okay? Because you don't anyhow go to any kind of free revision and all that, because some of the trainer, they are not really steep in the training tradition, okay? So they may mislead you. That's why we also, we are like contractor. We don't like to solve other trainers' problem. So okay, it's true. Now let me explain. Now, when a real estate cannot be transferred, it will have no value at all. Maybe I should add, they will have no market value at all. Now, if the transfer is subject to stringent criteria, then the value will be limited. Like those early days when you want to resell your HDB flat, then there's a posted price. And then after that, they change to valuation system, okay? So now we change to even a freer market force. Market force, that means, okay, buyer and seller, you just decide, negotiate yourself already, then the value will come in. So you can see that over the years, the transfer of public resale flats, they become more liberal, more liberal. So then the value can be determined by you and me. Now, you and me means the market. Now, so for example, if a person holding a live estate of a property, now, so the live estate means he is a lessee for life, means that he cannot transfer the property. He cannot sell the property. So therefore, the property will have no value. So if he have to pass down to a remainder who also holds a live estate, then that property will totally have no value. So that's why later on, when you become a real estate salesperson, you will always move around in landed property estates, and you will see many landed properties in the state of ruin. Why? You go and do title search, got people's name there, But then you're thinking, how come nobody want to stay in this house? Can I help to sell this house? Unfortunately, no, because why? The property has been willed to the next generation with the instruction that you can only hold it for your life. Then you're going to pass down to the next generation, to next generation, to next generation, to next generation. So when the subsequent generation all don't do well in life, they got no money to maintain the property. Therefore, the property then become ruined and nobody can sell. So it has no market value, and it become a family curse, Right. So now another tricky question: plot ratio can only go up and never come down. Let me pull up the question for you. Let's vote. Those who are watching on Facebook, you can also vote. You just text in your answer. %75 already. So we just wait for a few more. All right. 90% of you say it's false. Let me explain. Yes, it's false. Now, the plot ratio determines how many times a land plot can multiply into the gross floor area, and it also correspondingly it has a height limit there. So, for example, a plot ratio of 1.4, then the GFA will be 1.4 times of the plot size. Now, of course, you will have areas that you cannot use, such as stairways, lift shaft, and all that. So this is the reason why, if the developer can, the developer will want to build private lift for you, because why? Private lift, right? Private lift, the lift shaft they cannot sell to you, but when the private lift, the door open, then the foyer. Otherwise, if they don't have a private lift, the foyer will become corridor, common corridor. So then they don't want to have corridor. So they just block all the corridor, and then the lift shaft will come up, and then the lift become your private lift. So the whole stack, they will share the same lift. So when the lift door open, they can sell the foyer to you as a strata space, So as a result, they will be able to have higher efficiency rate. So the 1.4 time, when you minus off the staircase, the corridor, that's why you see condo got no corridor one. The corridor, the lift shaft, so probably they will be left with about 80%. So that's why 1.4 is the gross floor area. But when you sell, you can't sell all one. Okay, never mind. This is when you become agent, then you can come and attend my other courses. Now, so in 2008, the plot ratio 2008, I mean, sorry, master plan 2008, the plot ratio of Ivory Height in Jurong East came down from 2.1 to 1.6. So correspondingly, the story height also came down from 25 to 12. They have point block and slat block. Slat block is 12, point block is 25. So if it were to be sold collectively, and then the minimum height, the maximum height will then come down to 12. I believe that is because of an easement called scenic easement. Because why? Because some of the blocks are right in front of the Jurong Lake. Jurong Lake. That whole place is going to call the Jurong Lake District. So I believe if they allow them to come up to 25th story, and then the building behind, all the view will be blocked. All right, so now we have come to the end of the true or false. So my website, I think the practice question, I'm not so sure, okay. I think still haven't opened yet, because once I open that one for some free samples, then you can watch this program itself, and then you can also listen to my other 12 videos, short videos on specific topics. I chose those topics because I've been teaching this subject for so long, and I know that those topics I answer the most question, the most query. Most people, are confused over those questions. So that's why I make short videos to help you. So okay, so now I just want to have 1 minute of commercial. I hope that you all come and buy the bundle. The bundle will comprise 10 paper one lecture, the videos of my lecture. So for those people who have been following me on this quiz show, now you will know that I am very meticulous. I explain everything, lots of stories to tell you, to help you understand. So now, tell your friends about this one. So right now, I'm still giving the discount, and then you also have more than 1,000 multiple choice questions for you to practice. For those practicing agents, this coming Friday, I will analyze the current market, the most recent transaction analysis. Right now, our sale and purchase are doing very well. And what are the reasons? So I will show you the background in the global situation and also regional development. That's why we're doing well. I keep telling y'all that there's this V-shaped recovery. And I was proven right because on the 7th of January this year, I give a talk predicting that the 7-year consolidation is over. And this year we should go into upswing. So when the pandemic hit, I thought, oh dear, I was wrong. But no, look at the past 2 months transaction. We're actually on the uptrend despite the pandemic, right? So on a Friday, I will have more detail. But unfortunately, of course, our rental is down because of the massive retrenchment. You know, SIA is going to let go 2004, and many of them are pilots, mostly foreigners. Right, let's now go to multiple choice question. I think today's topics are slightly tougher. All right, for people who are not my students, that means first round you didn't attend my lectures, you may have a bit of problem answering some of the questions. Now let me read to you the questions first. Mother and daughter purchase a house as joint tenant. Mother contributed 70% of purchase price, while daughter took up a mortgage to cover the rest of the financial contribution. The daughter is much younger. If they are in good relationship, what may be the legal presumption about the unequal contribution? So, okay, so for those who are familiar with my teaching style, you know I always have this kind of questions. Okay, let's vote. I give you a little bit more time. The question asks you legal presumption. All right, some more, some more. For those who are watching for the first time, the highlight is not getting the answer correctly. The highlight is listening to the explanation. Thank you. Let me show you the poll result. Okay, every one of you think that answer C is a nonsense, huh? Okay, all right. So, so you have a tie, a three-way tie, or later on when you start to practice this business, we call it the three-way co-broke, three-way co-broke. All right. Let me explain. Let me explain. So give you the first answer B. The mother wants the daughter to enjoy her higher contribution as a gift. Let me explain. Now, this is called the presumption of advancement. Advancement means pay first, advance, advance, like salary advance. Sometimes, I mean, when you're still working, for example, you may go to your boss and say that, oh, so and so for sake, I need some money, and well, can I have an advance, salary advance? So now this means that the mother wants to give the daughter the inheritance in advance. Right? So now, so meaning when you don't sue each other, and then after that, really the mother really dies, and then other siblings may come and quarrel with the sister, for example. Then the sister will say that no, when we bought the property together, number one, we bought it in joint tenancy. Joint tenancy. Joint tenancy means two of them, right? Mother, daughter, right? Anyone dies, the other party becomes the sole owner. Remember? All right. So now what happened? This daughter has got other siblings, or this mother has got other children. Now you understand this kind of situation in Singapore. So sometimes two of them live together, and then maybe the son is married off already. Then they have their own household. Then when the mother passed away, then the brother come back and say that no, you should sell the house because mother's share should be split equally among the siblings. But then joint tenancy says what? Joint tenancy says we'll go to the joint tenant. The joint tenant survivor will go to the survivor. And two, when there's nothing mentioned, so the court will say no. The mother goes into this kind of arrangement. Is that she wants the daughter to take her higher contribution as a gift. Now, what happened is that mother and daughter already quarrel. That's a different thing. Then the mother will be the beneficiary of a resulting trust. Then the other siblings will come in and really fight over the inheritance. So A and D, equal number of people are picked, A and D. Now A and D will be true if the mother and daughter are not in good terms and are suing each other for the fair share of the financial benefits. But you do know that most of the Singapore cases that we saw, the court will say that, okay, since there's no presumption of advancement, meaning since now I ascertain that the mother has no intention to gift the daughter the share, or vice versa. Sometimes the daughter pay more than the mother. Okay, so now then I shall rule according to the portion of their financial contribution. So then the court can order the partition of the joint tenancy into tenancy in common. So do not forget all these joint tenancy, tenancy in common and all that. In the exam, you have a lot of questions. I think the next week, I think we'll have some joint tenancy questions. Now, privately, the mother may have such a thinking. So while there is no conflict between C and B in a practical sense, but C has got nothing to do with the understanding of land rights. Now let's go to question 2. A landowner may have the right to restrict a neighbor's land usage. So what is the right known as? This one is pretty straightforward. Now, exam you do have pretty straightforward questions such as this one. So let's vote. I don't expect you to have any problem with this. So those are watching on Facebook, you can also try. Do you know that I can see the answers coming in? I can see the percentage. And then I can see, the progress bar, So from the way the answer comes in, I know that a lot of people are struggling for this question. And just now I say, oh, this one should be straightforward and all that. Okay, I was teasing you. This is not straightforward. It's okay. Okay. Okay, two more person vote, then we can end the quiz. Okay, one more. Thank you. Let me show you. Okay. Let's look at the question again. A landowner may have the right. The keyword is right. Right. To restrict a neighbor's land usage. What is this right known as? So the keyword appear 2 times. Right to restrict. What is this right known as? So now, anybody who picked covenant is wrong, whether positive or negative, because covenant is a promise. So now the question asks you right. Right. So those who pick easement will have a 50-50 chance to get it right, because easement is a right. So we already tested you 3 times. So this is the 4th time I test you on easement. Easement is a right. Covenant is a promise. So let me review answer. So you see, this is a negative easement. I have the right to restrict usage, such as you cannot build taller than me. Now you see, when you give me a promise, to say that you're not going to subdivide your land, then okay, then okay, but it's not a usage. So I will receive a covenant, right? Okay, so but there's no easement involved. All right, okay, so okay, so let's go to the explanation. Now, negative easement, such as a height restriction against blocking of light and blocking of scenery. So now, I mean, just go to the point. The question mentioned right. So then you have the pick easement. A covenant is a promise, I already mentioned. It may be promises made in a contract or on land. Of course, after the promise made on land already, you can still go and create a deed. Now, the confusing part is that sometimes a negative easement was secured through the neighbor's promise. For example, the neighbor promised not to block your light. So the promise creates the right. So it's a restrictive covenant that gives rise to a negative easement. So that's why this will be in my short video. The most confused one, every batch without fail, I will have to answer this question many times. Positive easement refers to the right, the land right that one owner enjoys over the neighbor's land, allowing him to use the neighbor's land, such as, you must allow me to pass through. You must allow, so it's positive. Okay, I believe this is a very good revision for those who are taking the exam soon. Let's test you on a leasehold condo. A leasehold condo may enjoy a better resale value than a freehold condo due to one of the reasons. So now I will just pull out the poll question and let's vote. Okay, thank you very much. This one, I think you all are very familiar with this question. A more desirable location, a more desirable location. So let me explain. A more desirable location, for example, the leasehold condo is in a prime district, while the freehold condo is in a suburban district. Now, desirable location is the predominant factor for good rental income and thus resale value. Say, for example, you buy Orchard Residences, for example. I would say that is the best location in Orchard because right smack in the middle of Orchard Road, right smack. Now, proximity to an MRT station does not guarantee a better resale value. So now, since I use Orchard Residences, I will use Scott's Residences. Okay, our Scott Square. I cannot remember. Okay, just opposite, just directly opposite Orchard Residences is this Scott's thing. Now, some more is freehold. Orchard Residences is 99 year, but the resale value and the rental, all right, Scott's no match with Orchard Residences, even though they are using the same MRT station. So this is just one very good example. Sophisticated design alone does not guarantee a better resale value. If it lacks convenience, rental will suffer. Constraint in supply by itself is unlikely to push the price or resale value of a leasehold to higher than freehold. One still has to consider the location or geographic location. So for example, a shortage of leasehold condos in Sembawang or Yio Chu Kang may not push up the price so much until it exceeds the freehold value. Okay, like Bullion Park and Orchid Park. I mean, one is 99, one is freehold, or 999, one is 999. They actually the rental the same, rental the same. Question number 4. Mr. Lim exercised the option to purchase OTP for a house from Mr. Tan. So now, what is the legal status of Mr. Lim? Maybe I should ask what kind of rights he has. But I hope you understand. After you exercise option already, what do you become? Let's vote. After a buyer exercise the option already, what does he become? Okay, one more. Thank you. Thank you. Let's share the results, poll results. Now, is correct that nobody picked B? Now, because once you exercise the option, you have a contract already. So B is there to actually confuse you. So sometimes when you take the exam, you didn't have a good night's sleep before. Most of you were one day before the exam, or study burn midnight oil. So this kind of question can easily trick you, Okay, so you just blur. Okay, you forgot that you have exercised the option. Not just taking the option, exercise the option. Okay, so now let me review the most people pick the right answer. Mr. Lim has become the equitable owner of the house. In fact, the moment he exchanged, he paid the 1%, he took the option to purchase the paper, he has already become the equitable owner of the house, because at that point he already can lodge caveat. That means he already he already has become the equitable owner, and the right is proprietary in nature, because we're not talking about buying over the house. So usually the lending bank will lodge caveat to protect the loan. Is the bank that protect itself, not Mr. Lim protect himself. Now, it is true that Mr. Lim will only become the legal owner on the day of legal completion. However, in equity, he already acquired the equitable ownership, which is proprietary in nature, meaning which is a land right. So he already can lodge caveat already. Now B, you already know is not true. Mr. Lim does have a contract. Now D, a resulting trust does not work this way. So resulting trust, I think next week or either last week of the month, and so once you pay the money, even though your name is not inside the title, right? You have become the beneficiary of a resulting trust. So I will explain in another quiz show, because there's simply too many. I don't want to like chapalang everything together. Then today obviously is easement. Today obviously is easement. I always have a central theme. Question number 5, following the earlier question, what is the legal status of the house seller, Mr. Tan? Now that he has accepted the deposit for the purchase of his house, so what is his status now? Let's vote. Don't be surprised. In the last exam, last exam was last year. The last exam, this word bailment or bailer or bail law or bailment actually was asked. That's why I phrased the question in this way. I mean, it's very unfair. They start to ask something that's totally not related to land rights. But I will explain later. I'm not saying this is the answer. Okay. All right, thank you. We have 85% already. Let me show you the poll results. Okay, most of you picked B. Let me share the answer. Right, it's B. But you do need to know what the other options talked about. B, Mr. Tan has become a trustee of the house for the benefit of Mr. Lim. So what does he need to do as a trustee? So as a trustee, he has to look after the house to ensure that it remains in the same state of repair. So not just trustee, he now owes the buyer the duty of care. The duty of care not to let the property go to waste or become ruined. So because why? If he start to damage his own property, then Mr. Lim can sue him. Okay, so A, in equity, Mr. Lim has already acquired the equitable ownership, which is proprietary in nature. So that's why he can lodge a caveat against him. So A says that they have no legal relation. A bailment will come in when people move house and then they entrust their valuable items with another person. Say, for example, let's say you have some valuables and you don't want to put it in the rental property. So what happened is that maybe you're going to rent a place, or maybe you're going to put it with your relatives' house and all that. So you ask them to take care. All right. So then it become a bailment. All right. A tenant may entrust his own furniture with a friend in the interim of 2 leases. So now no land is involved, no land right is involved, but personal property or private personal properties. So like sometimes jewelries and all that. So therefore it has got nothing to do with land rights. Okay, so but something very similar to trust. So but still not a trust because it's contractual. It's contractual. Okay, now D, is it not true that a house owner will become a tenant at will? It's the other way around. If Mr. Lim moved in early without rent, then Mr. Lim is the tenant at will. The seller is not the tenant at will. So that's why in the exam, typical, this is really a typical exam question, because why? You know a little bit about bailment, you know a little bit about tenant at will, you know a little bit about proprietary, you know a little bit about trust and all that. So then a story came out. All right. Then everything is there as a possible answer. So that's why when I design this quiz show, I say, yeah, I better explain the answers. Question 6. Johnny's father contributed cash for Johnny and his wife to purchase a condo unit in the couple's name. So what is the legal relationship between the young couple and the father in relation to the condo unit? So let me pull out the question first. I need a bit of time. All right, let's vote. All right, thank you. Share the poll results with you. There's a tie between C and D. Now, before I explain the answer, I want to ask you. What is the difference between this question and the mother and daughter question? Can you maybe spare a moment to try to recall the mother and daughter, how they purchase the property, and this one is father and the married child. Now that one, the the mother and the daughter, they are joint tenants. And just the money is declared one. Oh, so I pay every month. Okay, I put down the down payment. But this one is father contribute cash on the side. And then he got no legal, he got no title. His name is not in the title. Okay, so now I will explain. I will explain the answer. The answer is the young couple is holding the property title for their own benefit as well as for the benefit of the financial contributor. So now let me explain. The young couple is holding the property title for their own benefit as well as for the benefit of Johnny's father. That makes them the trustee for themselves and the father-in-law. That makes them the trustee as well as the beneficiary. Okay, so now this is confusing part. When you are the trustee, all right, or one of the trustees, or just one trustee, can you also be one of the beneficiaries? The answer, of course, is yes. Of course, is yes. Say, for example, a father passed away, leaving behind a will to say that my property all share equally among my children, and I want my eldest child to be the executor. Executor operates like something like a trustee. So now, therefore, when a home buyer they buy a property, but then the family member contributed cash to them. So then a resulting trust arises. So you're not the sole owner, because like somebody has given you the money to buy the property. So in equity, in justice, and in fairness, when you sell the property, you must return the money to the financial contributor. So only the court can declare a resulting trust. Among them, there is a gentleman agreement and a gentleman understanding that, okay, when you sell the property, you return me the money. Okay, so now, the name of the beneficiary of a trust does not appear in the real estate title. Now, even this is a express trust. Okay, I know many of you, when you go and take the exam, by then you already forgotten what is the meaning of express trust. Express trust means a written trust. So when you have a written trust, all right, and you register it, the property is in the name of the trustee, but the beneficiary's name is not in the title one. So that's why whether this is an express trust or this is a resulting trust, the name of the remainder also does not appear in the. Okay, remainder is another story. So you must know that even if I now will my property to you, your name is not there also, not in the title also. Okay, there is no legal presumption to suggest a common law debt between family members. Family members got no common law debt. So, but if a friend has come up with the cash, then there may be this kind of presumption that he may be a common law creditor. D, unless his father explicitly expressed it, no one knew his intention. So there was no mention in the scenario that Johnny's father wanted the down payment to be a gift. So again, a typical RES exam question. One is resulting trust. One is a gift. One is a common law debt. Okay, I mean for you to pick lah. All right, now let's look at 7. Following the earlier question, can Johnny's father ask for the money to be returned to him? So if you get it right first time, this question you should get it right also. Let's vote. 69%, 76%. Thank you very much. I end the poll now. I share the poll result. Now, just now I just let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, because I'm not supposed to mention resulting trust. I forgot. Okay, so if those who are paying attention, then they'll say, oh, resulting trust. That's why you pick the right answer. But in the exam, you won't be so lucky already. Now, you will find. Okay, you see, there's so many concepts. Now I keep repeating this. In the exam, you are being tested on your conceptual understanding. It's not how many MCQ you have tried and all that. And by now you should know all those MCQ that is sold on the market. There's no way you can go and ask the person who writes it and say that, hey, why the answer is like that? Even for my own MCQ on the course notes, sometimes now you don't see me, you can't ask, okay? But you can ask when I'm online, all right, okay? And then Tuesday, we're going to meet again for free tutorial. I think I'm the only trainer doing this. All right, okay, anyway, so your conceptual understanding is very important. See, writ of summons and seizure is a real estate kind of thing. So you will come across it when you become an agent. Common law debt also, and then of course resulting trust also, constructive trust also, and then gift, So we must really pick the right concept. So question 6 and 7, let's say you come out in the exam, you get 6 wrong, you get 7 wrong. You get 6 correct, you get 7 correct, and 2 marks is a lot in the exam. Okay, C, yes, is as it was the purchase money in a resulting trust. It can be returned. In fact, what happened is that if they don't return, and the father, let's say the relationship goes sour, the father can go to the court to seek a declaration of resulting trust, to seek a declaration, right? A, B, and D, money will never be spent for no reason one. So it's either a gift, a loan, all right, okay, or an investment, So there are appropriate avenues for the rightful return of the money. I will answer a question later. Okay, a housing developer went bust and the bank liquidated the firm, which owed a building company more than X million in unpaid building costs. So what right does the builder have? So let's pull out the last question. Let's vote. Okay, in the interest of time, I just end the poll and show you the results. 60% of you say it is answer B, right? So now let's go to the answer. Yes, this is called the builder's lien. Builder's lien, let me explain. It is a lien, which is proprietary in nature. So for liens, I also have short videos. So I just hope that these short videos will be useful to you all. Okay, so because you know, I don't know why many of you are not buying the videos. So then I thought that, you know, it's there to help you. All right. So then I say, never mind. Maybe I make an hour worth of videos, but the 10 lessons on the video is worth 30 hours. 30 hours. So 1 hour out of the 30 hours, if it can help you, I think I have, I mean, I've served my purpose. So, okay. So now, liens is also one concepts that a lot of people have a lot of questions. Now, so the whole idea is this: whoever in possession of the property will also possess all the value of the construction. All right. So, but then rightfully, the construction cost should be returned to the construction company. So it is true that the builder will resort to legal action, but then in the interim, they will use the caveat to secure their interest. Okay, because caveat is something like that. Whoever choke first, whoever lodge first, whoever will have the first priority. So they will have to act very fast one. All right, so now the rights that the building company possess over the land is considered proprietary because they have spent a lot of money in developing the land. So or else the land has no value. Okay, we will still have the quiz show just ongoing. We don't care. Now, one thing concerns me. Before LMA's ended my engagement, they told me I still have about 900 students who haven't passed. Elsewhere, of course, they got thousands. Okay, so because our classes are just by the hundreds, but elsewhere they are by the thousands. Okay, I mean they are something like 4 or 5 times larger than us. Now, so just what I'm trying to say is that just reach out to your friends and say that there's this quiz show, ask them to come. And of course, the free tutorial, I also welcome them. Okay, so now don't leave yet. Somebody leave some questions there. So for those who are practicing agents, you need your CPD generic. Come support me on this coming Friday. I will have lots of statistics to share with you. And I mean, for those who are taking the exam, of course, you are taking the exam next week. Then I think it's a bit too late for you, lah. But those who are taking the next round, I think you should tell your friends. So these are all very good resources. Now, if I dare to go Facebook Live and dare to take questions this way, okay, then you must know that my standard somewhere there, okay. So the money will not be wasted one. Okay, let me answer some questions. Usually, I don't answer questions. Okay, now, yes, it's true that only the court can declare resulting trust. So is no conflict there, no conflict there. All right, so thank you very much. So let's end. So you may exit now. Thank you.